Okay, this is the fifth video, and what I think will be the final video. Right here, we are looking at this graph. It says uneven distribution. That means that it's not equal. There's going to be an uneven distribution of resources. Train your brain. What is the biggest resource on here? This one says gold. Okay, let's look at some observations. The biggest is gold. Then what's the smallest? What is the smallest resource that I see if I add them all up? I would probably say copper. Okay. Remember, different resources come from different geologic processes. We should write that. Uh, Different resources are formed by different geologic processes. The way that metals form, if you will go through, and we live here in Utah, if you're watching this video, I'm going to go through and I'll draw some mountain ranges. Here's my little mountain range, and here's my little mountain range, and here's my little mountain range. Well, what had to happen for metals to form is we have something called a volcanic intrusion. The volcanic intrusion is where we have, yeah, it sounds like a volcano, where we have this magma rise up. And this magma, when it rises up, well, first of all, we showed you a few videos ago that things rise because they are less dense. But this magma rises and it brings with it metal. And we have all this metal. Oh, no, still want red. And all of this metal comes up in liquid form. This gold is dissolved. So it brings little bits of gold with it. It brings little bits of copper with it. It brings all kinds of different metals with it. So metals are formed by volcanic intrusions. Well, the way that we understand this in Utah, there were people walking around. I'm from West Jordan. There were people walking in the mountains and they found copper. And when they found copper, they traced it back and they said, hey, that came from over here in the mountains. And what they've done is they've gone through and they have basically cut all this out and they have turned it into an open pit mine. And so we're going to go through and they've basically cut the top of the mountain off and they keep going down and down and down. And so this is right here. And now we can go through and we can find different metals coming out of the mine. If any of you are fans of Real Salt Lake, they play at Rio Tinto Stadium. Rio Tinto is the name of the company that works at the Kennecott copper mine. So let's review. Different resources are formed by geologic processes. Coal got formed by dead things getting buried, and metals formed by igneous rock rising to the surface. It cools, and then we excavate. Awesome. So that is how metals form. That's why we have lots of metals here in Utah. We have volcanic intrusions. Scrolling down, if I look at this map of Utah, Utah is this one. We have two main resources, and it's coal and copper. Coal is formed by dead things like a swamp gets buried. Then after thousands of years of heat and pressure, the dead things are turned into coal. We just went over this is how copper gets formed, the other resource, the other mineral. Coal is not a mineral, so I can't say the other mineral. This is how coal gets formed. This is how copper gets formed, that the volcanic rock rises to the surface and then it cools. Well, other states have been through this as well. Remember, and I'm going to write it down, if you have the same resources, that tells me that you went through the same geologic formations. Your teacher cannot type right now. So sorry. So that would tell me that Utah, Arizona, and New Mexico all have been through similar geologic processes. Why? Because they all have this copper. Then, if I go to this part of the United States, this is the Midwest, and from the Dakotas down to Utah, these all had swamps. How do I know that there were swamps? Well, I know that there were swamps because there is coal. If there is not enough coal, if there's not enough swamps or enough dead things, you're not forming coal. Why does Mississippi not have coal? Well, it didn't have a swamp that got buried. Uh, Oregon. Oregon has trees or forests. The reason why it doesn't have coal is the dead things didn't get buried. You have worked very hard this whole time. Thank you. Remember, there's an uneven distribution of natural resources. Um, some people can get resources by trades. We're going to leave it at that, but thank you for paying attention. Have a great day.